Oh my god, hey, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I think it's really amazing and I find it so flattering that so many people want to subscribe to watch my videos and enjoy the content that I am making, and I'm really happy to have you all here, so thank you so much for subscribing. As a celebration of reaching the 1,000 subscriber mark, I wanted to start making some videos where I tell you a little bit more about myself and my history of going to see shows. So for today's video, I want to start showing you some of the stagiest things that I own. My favourite merch I've got from shows, other things I've collected. I have a few little things that I would like to share with you today.
These are a few of my stagiest things.
The sun is blinding. My first stagey thing that I own is this t-shirt from The Inheritance. I'm wearing it today because the Broadway production of The Inheritance has just recently announced that they're going to be closing early. Why, Broadway? Why? Although, if that means it's coming back to the West End, then I am here for it, because this is legitimately the best show I have ever seen. I have a bunch of other t-shirts from shows. I like wearing them when I go to rehearsals. I like wearing them when I go to the theatre. I did have to stop myself at one point. I was buying a t-shirt at every show I went to, and I had to say no. Just buy it if you actually like the shirt. Another one I do have, though, that's really, really nice is this one. This t-shirt from Ben Platt's concert that he did in London for his debut album, Sing to Me Instead. This merch queue was a really funny time. It was at the Eventim Apollo, which is a music venue rather than a theatre. So they had one little merch kiosk downstairs, and it was this crowded mosh pit of hundreds of people all queuing up and pushing past each other. I was like, I don't care, I'm now buying multiple things. I've been in this queue for 45 minutes. So I got this t-shirt with this beautiful pattern on the front, and it says, Sing to Me Instead on the sleeve. Next up, the Burn Book Spectrum makeup brush set. I love this so much. I bought this as a birthday present to myself a couple of years ago because I'm a huge, huge Mean Girls fan. Both the musical and the movie. And then eventually the movie they make of the musical of the movie that's going to be a musical. That one. It has all these brushes, and as happy as I am to own it, it's a little bit wasted on me because I kind of don't know what all of them do. If anyone is a beauty expert or just knows what brushes are, feel free to please send me a message or drop me a comment down below saying what each of these are. This one, powder. This one is also here. This one, foundation. No, that's foundation. That's foundation. What is this? Is it blush? I don't wear blush. I don't need this brush, if that's what that is. That thin little one there, highlight. This one, contour. I've been using it for contour, so I'm really hoping that that's what it is. What other brushes do you have? Is there a primer brush? Is there a lip brush? Is that a lip brush? Is that a lip brush? I have no idea, is the takeaway from this. But I do feel really, plasticky and cool when I have it, so yeah. Next on my list is this Sugar Butter Flower, the Waitress Pie Book. This is really cool. The first time I went to see Waitress, I was just obsessed with the fact that the theatre smelled like pies, and I kept watching the bits at the side of the stage where the pies are just going around. And it was either after the show or halfway through the show, I said to the people I was with, I was like, I really want pie now. I want to go home and make pie. The pies are actually either really easy to make because I'm a terrible baker, or I'm secretly just really good at making pie. I think this was the first one I made, just because it looks like such a cool pie. It's super cute because all of the little introductions for the pies are written as if Jenna was writing the cookbook. I think that's really sweet. There's a pie for every kind of day, even the kind of day when you've already been on your feet for 8 hours straight. Yeah, pie, pie, pie. Can recommend. Next up, I will always buy merch from shows if I think it is funny or clever, and if it's something I can actually use. When I went to see 9 to 5, the fact that this mug says pour myself a cup of ambition on the other side, genius. I have to buy it, regardless of the fact that I have way too many stagey mugs. Don't let me buy a mug ever again, but this one, with a pun, sold. Another really clever piece of merch, this hat from Company that says, does anyone still wear a hat? If you don't know the show, it's a lyric from one of the songs, Ladies Who Lunch. Patti LuPone's character in the most recent version says, does anyone still wear a hat? And while we're on the subject of hats, I do have this Dear Evan Hansen exclusive first performance London first preview hat. I had no idea we were getting these. I was just happy to be at the first preview. And then when we were leaving and they were giving out these hats, I was like, stuff? Hats? Love that for me. Love a free hat. In cute baby blue. Next up, I have some CDs. So there used to be a shop in London. If you're stagey and old enough, you'll remember Dress Circle in the Seven Dials near Covent Garden, near where the Cambridge Theatre is, where Matilda's playing at the moment. It was this amazing stagey musical theatre shop that sold old programmes, merchandise, CDs. It was so cool, and I only got to go a few times before it closed. But they used to do these special events and CD signings, so I got these two signed CDs from the cast of the London revival of Sweeney Todd from 2012 with Michael Ball and Imelda Staunton. And this one, the 2011 London Palladium revival of The Wizard of Oz, with Danielle Hope, Michael Crawford, Hannah Waddingham, all of this cast there. And they were there in Dress Circle, they signed the CDs. I'm pretty sure at this one I met someone in the queue who went on to be a very successful West End producer, and I am here making videos. The next one is one of my favourite things in the world, and probably the most precious thing that I actually own, and it is this. It's the Stephen Sondheim Finishing the Hat book. So when I first got into musical theatre, it was because of Bernadette Peters and the music of Stephen Sondheim. Around his 80th birthday, they released this book, which is a book of his lyrics from shows, because primarily he is an amazing lyricist. I was so obsessed with this book, and so obsessed with going to see actors who had done a lot of Sondheim shows when I was younger, that when I did, I used to get them to sign my book. Rupert Young, who is now in Dear Evan Hansen, I saw him play Bobby in Company. Siobhan McCarthy was also in that production as well. Fun fact, Cassidy Jansen, who is now in And Juliet in the West End, was also in that production. She played Amy. Daniel Evans and Jenna Russell, who have done countless Sondheim shows, they've signed this as well. Josephina Gabrielle, who I saw in Merrily We Roll Along. I've got Michael Ball and Imelda Staunton, obviously they were in Sweeney Todd together. I've got David Bedella and Michael Gibson. This one down here, very special. Patti LuPone. I saw her in concert at the Leicester Square Theatre a few years ago, and I didn't actually get to meet her, but I got to send the book backstage for her to sign. And while she was doing the show, she told two stories about when she'd worked for Sondheim, and they have a difficult and fiery working relationship. So I just remember being sat in that concert and thinking, I didn't know she hated Sondheim, I really hope she doesn't burn my book. But she didn't. I got it back. I had to wait in a little room with Graham Norton, and she signed it, and I got it back. I haven't taken this to get signed in years, not since I was really young, but looking through it's made me really nostalgic, so I feel like I maybe might start taking it to the theatre again. So when it comes to programmes, I used to buy a programme for every single show I went to. Every time I'd see a show, I would buy the programme, I would buy the souvenir brochure, but I started to realise that this was really expensive. And I've sold most of them. If you want to buy any of the last few programmes I have from shows I've seen in the last 5-10 years, check out my Depop page. It's Depop/Mickey Joe Theatre. But I have kept two productions from years of theatre going. This is the first one. This is from when I saw Into the Woods at Regent's Park. This was one of the first things I ever went to since properly getting into theatre. It was from 2010, and Jenna Russell was in this, and Hannah Waddingham was in this, and Alice Fern was in this. She played Rapunzel. Michael Xavier was in this. And I remember sitting in the audience, and this was the first thing that made me think, wow, theatre can be so much more than I realised it could be, and it could be so creative and so different. I think that's when I really fell in love with theatre. This is the other one I have kept. This is from much more recently. This is from last year. I went for my birthday to Les Mis, the staged concert at the Gielgud Theatre. I don't have to tell you what an amazing cast this was, and that's why I've kept the programme. I saw it with John Owen Jones. Obviously Earl Carpenter was there, Michael Ball was playing Javert, Rob Houchen playing Marius, Carrie was playing Fontaine, Carrie Hope Fletcher, Bradley Jaden was playing Enjolras. This incredible cast, even people who had been in the show years before. Gemma Wardle, who had been Eponine in the show years before, was in the ensemble. It had this amazing legacy of people who had been in Les Mis present on the stage. And that's why I've kept this to remind me how much I love Les Mis, probably still one of my favourite musicals of all time. And just what an amazing cast that was, what an amazing legacy the show has had. And that's why I have that one. Thank you so much for watching this video about my Stagiest things. Stay tuned for another one coming very soon where I'm going to be showing you the things that I have kept as souvenirs from shows that I have performed in, which translates to things I've stolen from backstage. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel for more stagey content and have a stagey day.